Hello everybody. Today I'm going to bring you a review of the Scale 118 Ertl Dodge Monaco Police Pursuit from 1974. This particular one is actually in the Massachusetts State Police livery, which is my home state, so I was very happy to see that it was represented by Ertl. But there are also several different liveries out there. I believe there's a Nevada State Police, as well as some movie cars. But I'm not too familiar with the movie ones, so let's get started on the details of the car, because they're all the same thing, minus the coloring. So on the outside, now I have to say that Ertl has come a long way since that Dodge Ram that I showed a little while ago in one of my reviews. It was 118 Dodge Ram, and that thing was a piece of crap. It really was. I mean, the quality was poor, inside and out, and just not even worth the money, even though it was only $25. This is a lot more expensive. I bought this thing for about $70, but I think it's justified because Ertl has come such a long way. Now, it's important to note, I probably shouldn't say Ertl, I should say Autoworld, but they are the exact same company. I believe Autoworld is just their newer kind of rebranding of the company, hoping probably to get rid of some of the bad notions that people have had of the Ertls of past. So paint quality is pretty good on the outside. The only real problems that I notice, there's a little bit of a scuff here, which is naturally just my car, so you probably won't notice that. But considering that it is a quality control issue, you might notice it on a different part of the car. But otherwise, paint quality is pretty good, and the fact that there's, different colors, they did a pretty good job. There's no really obvious overlap between like the light blue and the dark blue. These are kind of complex vehicles to paint, these cruisers. The logo is impeccable. That's one of the better logos I've seen. You can even read on the details on the inside with the seal. Very nice. Same thing. Now these are all painted on, so you don't have to worry about them peeling off, like that green light Ford Crown Victoria. Chrome quality is pretty good, although I did notice there were some fingerprints that are kind of remaining permanent on it, and it is starting to wear away a little bit on the back, but it's pretty good. Especially, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily consider this a budget car being $70, but from a car company that previously made budget cars, I think it's pretty good. You can notice that there are pegs in the back and also noticeable on the front, but it's not really a big deal considering that's where the bulb would be anyway. So I would not call that, something that I wouldn't buy it for. Nice thing about this, again, rare for an Ertl or / Autoworld, is fully opening features. Same thing with the other side. Back also opens. Now this kind of has the traditional Maisto door hinge from the past, so that can get loose. This has a little bit of a spring to it, so it's more likely to stay closed. And the front's got a nice, it's not going to be falling down anytime soon. Engine detail is pretty good. I mean, the chrome looks really good. If I zoom in right onto that air filter there, you can even see the bolt on the top with the Magnum. This is a 440 engine, absolutely massive. And you also have, a few of the warning labels there, all vintage. Wires, some of them are actually real, going to the engine. Some are fake, they're kind of running along the side, but you really don't notice it because it looks pretty good. Everything is properly colored, and you can see all the way down to the bottom. You can see my hand in that little crack. There's also a nice texture underneath. Actually, it feels like plastic, yeah. Or actually, it might be metal, it's just not coated like the exterior is. The grille, it doesn't go all the way through, but it looks realistic enough. In some lights you can see, like down here, it's kind of blackening out. It's not quite as smooth as you'd like to see on probably a higher end model, but it still looks good for what it is. I'm not gonna rip on this car too much because it's a incredible improvement from their past vehicles. So nice wheels. This particular, as what is typical of the classic cruisers, they had the colored rims on them. They look nice with that Dodge logo, the vintage Dodge logo on there. The trunk is absolutely massive. Of course, it's harrowing back to the good old days of the full body on frame sedans. This is sort of a precursor to the Crown Victoria, except it's a Dodge. So I'm going to get underneath here, and this, if I zoom out, this is pretty impressive. So underneath we actually have proper coloring, and even along the paint you can see that the blue kind of extends a little bit farther in, as if it was actually spray painted on. That looks awesome. And the exhaust, that's all correct. You can see the transmission, everything's raised from the bottom. Those gigantic leaf springs had to be gigantic considering this car, and an absolutely massive gas tank because it burns through gas like there's no tomorrow, really. Everything. Now this has the anti-roll bars that the police package had. They did actually put some thought into this, and actually put in parts that were relating to the police package, not just the civilian version. This right here is a large whip antenna. It comes right off, and when you actually get it in the package, you have to look on the bottom because it wasn't originally installed in the car for obvious reasons. And mine actually did break off, but I just used super glue and it's on there for good now. Now, some of these, they actually bend all the way down or bend forward on like some of the old CHP cars. This one does not, although you probably could do it. I just advise that you be pretty careful with it. I actually feel like I'm going to have to super glue that again. It's starting to get loose. Before my camera runs out of battery here, I'm going to go on to the interior, which again, it continues with the impressive detail. This has the radio in it. It also has the stereo, a gun mount, and by the way, this thing actually does open up, that little gun mount thing, although you really can't take the gun out. Now on the interior, the seats don't look all that realistic, but that's only because they're sort of at vinyl color. I'm not actually too sure how realistic the coloring is, but it looks pretty good. And as far as all the detail on behind the steering wheel for the gauge cluster, it looks pretty good. There is a sticker where the speedometer is, but you barely can notice that, so it's not a problem. And so, other than that, the only thing that really separates this would be, or from the stock car, would be the spotlight, as well as the little gumball light on the top. And both of those look pretty good as well, though there's a pretty big peg right in the middle. So overall, I have to say, for $70, this is most certainly worth it, and especially if you can get it, in the livery of your local police department, it's even cooler. I was very happy to see this the first time I can see Massachusetts State Police vehicle. So I was pretty happy with that. Oh, and one thing I will note before I finish off, this is supposed to be chrome around here as far as I know, and it's not. It's actually sort of a metallic silver color. But again, not a big deal. So I would highly recommend this vehicle, and it's definitely, let's hope that Ertl/Autoworld continues on this pattern, because I want to see more of this in the future. Alright, thanks for watching.